I don't care if it's a week, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Who do we appreciate? LeBron James. That's who y'all got to start appreciating. And you got to stop disrespecting this man. You got A.J. Brown, who's a legit number one, and you got Julio, who's a legit number one. One of them dudes got to get double teamed. Who gonna get double teamed? And whoever gets double teamed, the other one gets the ball. I'm saying this with no pun intended, with full of pride. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Prideful podcast. As always, it's your boy Pride. I got Elena back with me. Her camera's down, but you still gonna be hearing her voice.
Yes, sir.
Elena, how you doing today?
I'm doing great and ready for these NBA topics, ready to get going. How you doing today, sir?
I'm horrible. I'm not even gonna lie. Look, man, I was on the show earlier with Freddie. I even go home. He make me want to quit. This man, Freddie. Look at him. Freddie already come. Look at him.
Oh, here you go.
Listen, Alana, I was trying to be a good noodle. I really was. I was trying to be nice. But then I beat up Freddie so bad that he had to go get 5 people. I was jumped and I still won. Let that sink in. I was jumped 5-on-1. They try to say Kobe was better than LeBron.
Okay, see, this is why I should have been on this morning, because I had the back pride.
I was so upset. I had no backup, and I was like, you know what? Come on. I was knocking him down. Freddie was adding people, and I was like, you know what? I'm still here. And I told him this. When they come to their senses and they come over here, and they talking about, they finally admit LeBron's the best, I'm gonna tell them right now. I save the seat for them. But understand,
we keep the seats warm over here.
I'm gonna be petty. I'm gonna bring it up for the rest of their lives, bro. I'm gonna be like, hey, yo, remember October of 2021? You thought Kobe was better? I'm gonna be petty, but I'm not gonna rehash that conversation. Freddie, I'm not falling for that trap. We're gonna talk about the other LA team, the Clippers. So, I don't know if you see SpongeBob. This is Weenie Hut Jr. That's why. And like, you know what I mean? That even when the Lakers were trash.
They were still bottom of the barrel. Yeah,
which is nuts. Like, let that sink in. But Paul George is supposedly their knight in shining armor. Kawhi Leonard is out. So I now ask, because I think this is a very simple question that people kind of still don't know the answer to. So I'm going to pose it to you. Can Paul George realistically carry this Clippers team to a top 4 seed in the East?
No, he cannot. By himself, no, he cannot. He needs assistance. Paul George is a player that, as good as he is, he still needs something else. Like there just has to be another factor. It can't just be Paul George. Like we've seen the Paul George experience in Indiana and how that went. And when it failed, he kind of failed in the background and was just kind of pointing the fingers. It was like, well, this person did do this and this person did do that, and it's like, as somebody that is supposed to be able to carry a team, you're not supposed to take on that mentality or have that attitude. So I don't think his game as it's currently constructed is enough to put somebody in the top 4 seed. Now, could they make the playoffs or be even in the play-in? Sure. I could see that. If they don't have Kawhi, I could definitely see that. Now, but as far as the top 4, especially the way that the West is right now, as competitive as it is right now, I don't see them being a top 4 seed with just Paul George. Now, if they have Kawhi in there, they could probably, make some things happen. But just Paul George, I don't think by himself he could get it done.
And I'm there with you because look, these are the teams that probably could end up as a top 4 seed, right? And mind you, there's more than them.
Yeah.
Than that. And by the way, Freddie, talking about always, every single time you've asked me to be on the show, I've been there.
Here you go.
I've been there, Freddie. Fredward. I'm going to call him Fredward. When he gets me mad, I'll call him Fredward every time he gets me tight. Listen here, Fredward. Every time you need me to on the show, I've been there. I will never run. I'm fat. I can't run. So
Freddie thinks that he's like I'm gonna start calling Freddie Krueger, because he thinks that everybody is just terrified of him, and it's all in his head. It's in his dreams. Like, ain't nobody scared of you.
100%. Let him know. But back to the topic. Here's the thing. There's a lot of teams that can make a case that they're going to be a top 4 seed, right? You got the Suns. You got, if they can figure it out, potentially the Lakers. I don't think so, but if they figure it out, that's another team. The Mavericks is another team that potentially could be there. The Jazz. The Warriors are playing next, but we're going to get into that a little later.
Yeah.
You got that. So right now, I'm looking at
the Grizzlies. Don't sleep on the Grizzlies either.
And that's another one. Denver. So it's kind of like there's going to
even Portland, even though, I mean, they're not the greatest team, they can still make, you just never know.
So you see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of like, there's too many teams.
Wait, did we say Utah?
I think I did.
Okay.
I said Utah. Golden State is still very much in that conversation. Yes, it's going to be the Mavs. I think the Mavs as a top 4 seed could potentially. You said the Grizzlies. I don't think they'll be a top 4, but I think between the 5 and 6 is going to be them. But we know how the West is, where between 2 and 7 is a game. So you know what I mean. So like, it's going to be too tight, and just the way I see this Clippers team play, I just don't. Look here, Freddie. Yeah, I'm here talking crazy. I don't understand what look, man. Here's the thing. Sometimes, Elena, when you say the truth, and some people can't accept it, they call you insane, right?
Yes.
Another thing when people call you insane, you see, I can predict the future, right? And I know a lot of things that's gonna happen. In the moment, I sound crazy, but in the future, I'ma sound like a visionary.
But you also know that they say insanity is basically being a genius at the same time. Genius and insanity. So
let them know. But
I mean,
in terms of these guys, I really don't see it. They'll probably, and a lot of people disagree with me when I say on this, but I'm looking at it. I think this team is built for the play-in.
Yes, that makes total sense. They're giving me play-in team at this particular moment.
Freddie, no one can live their lives without you being around, Freddie. You know what, Freddie? I'm gonna say this right now. Tonight, you're gonna hear it. I'm gonna pop.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to come on tonight. It's on and popping tonight.
See, watch, ready, Elena. He ain't gonna have room for me.
No.
Now who's gonna be running? Who's gonna be running? That? But look, I see like there's probably to be a top 4 seed. There's probably 5 legitimate teams you can argue outside of the Clippers, and again, missing their best guy. And we've seen this thing with Paul George when he's like Avatar: The Last Airbender. When the world needed him the most, and that's what he does. And I don't trust him. I don't trust him. Look here, Freddie. I told you, I got you. Not next week, the week after. You and me, we're gonna have a long conversation, and it's gonna be one topic. It's gonna be a one topic 3-hour conversation. He knows the conversation.
Oh yeah.
He know. And
I'm gonna just be a viewer. I'm gonna be just like Freddie in the comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna be hawking the comments.
And for the first time, I'm gonna have somebody have my back. Because Bishop, you abandoned me. You abandoned me.
No, Bishop. He jumped ship.
What? Yo, so quick. I was. It happened so fast. I was the last one to notice it.
Oh wow.
It happened so quick that Alana, we had the conversation went 15 minutes deep before I realized Bishop abandoned me. I was like, wow. It was so quick and so smooth. I was just like, whoa, Bishop. And they try to come back on my side. I was like, no. Stay over there.
Stay over there. Yeah, stay over there.
I was like, I don't want to hear nothing unless y'all admitting. Let him know. Tag him in it. Let him know. Because he abandoned. And he was, I'm telling you, he was smooth with it. I ain't even gonna hold him. He was smooth with it. Because like I said, he had me lost in the sauce for like a good 15 minutes. Yes, he abandoned me. But
that's why they call him the Bishop. That's what he do.
Yes, sir. But when it comes to the Clippers, I don't see it. You know what I mean? I think I'm gonna sound crazy, but I think even the Kings have the potential to have a higher seed. And I sound crazy saying that. And
the NBA is stacked this year on both sides.
It really is.
I don't know what's in the water this year for sports, but it's just like everything is so competitive right now.
Yeah,
like there's no foregone conclusion of who's gonna do what in on either side, because there's just so many potential teams that can knock this. Like there's just a lot of potential on both sides. So I think we probably have to get maybe a little bit more into the season to kind of solidify like who's who is gonna be as far as like on the East and the West. But yeah, I mean I agree with you. I think Sacramento definitely would have a chance to actually get like an 8 seed or even just be in the play-in tournament, then meet the Clippers there. Like it's one of those things. Like if Kawhi doesn't play a good majority of this season, the Clippers are a play-in team for sure.
I'm just glad you're finally giving Kawhi Leonard some respect.
Oh yeah, no, I mean they need Kawhi to get him there for sure. Like I'm not dumb.
He's a superstar, right? He's a superstar, right?
No.
Nice
try. Not yet. Nice try. That was a good attempt. It was a good attempt.
Freddie was like the king. Stop it. Look, man, I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Hey, what is his name? Damian Mitchell.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I told you for my dark horse defensive player of the year, I got Damian Mitchell. I like this kid. This kid is great. And I'm telling you, look, man, the Kings, they're kind of a borderline team, right? Well, not really borderline team. They're gonna be a polarizing team.
Yeah.
They're either gonna flame out again or they're gonna be a sleeper. Do I think that they're gonna run through the playoffs? No, not at all.
Yeah,
but I think they have a chance.
They have a chance. Yeah.
At least in the play-in. At least in the play-in. You know what I mean?
Or right on the cuff. They're a lot closer than they were in recent years.
And Freddie says, while Luke Walton is the head coach, you don't think so. Look, I'm a minority when it comes to this. I don't think Luke Walton is a bad coach. I don't think he's a great one, but I don't think he's a bad one either. I think he's a solid dude who, if you build great talent around him, he can succeed. That's how I look at him. I look at him kind of.
So you're saying he's more of like a situational coach?
Yes, that's how I look at him. Like if you give him young talent to build, can he build that young talent? Possibly, but in terms of like being like a Greg Popovich or I don't even want to say Brad Stevens because I've seen Brad do it, but at the same time he kind of took his ball and quit. But maybe even a Mike Budenholzer or a Eric Spoelstra, where you see them kind of do something. Luke Walton's not that guy, and you made it perfect. He's a situational coach where if the perfect storm is around him, he can do his thing. But if not, I don't see. And Freddie, you said with the Boston talk, is Brad Stevens was he not a good head coach?
He definitely was a good head coach.
So here's the thing with Freddie. Every single time, because he thinks I hate Kobe. I don't hate him, right? And he says the reason I hate Kobe is it all comes down to me hating him because I was a Celtic fan, right? I think that's fair. I think that's unfair, right? It always comes down to him with that I'm a Boston fan. Freddie, I hate you with passion. So he said he had 1 year. I disagree. I think every year he's been there, not only did he show improvement, but the team improved as well.
Yeah, I think he's a good coach. I just don't think that he's not the greatest like galvanize the troops kind of coach.
No, and that's
the issue. Yeah, that's the issue.
His biggest problem where
when you're in the
he needs to be able to go at him and say, "Yo, pick your stuff up," and he kind of was just like they'll figure it out. I have faith.
It's
okay to have that faith. But sometimes you're gonna have to, get
press
in
that
somebody's
button.
face. Yeah, like you got to get in somebody's face. Kind of like, and kind of what like Bill Belichick did with the Patriots when he had time, right?
Yes.
He knew. Matter of fact, no. Let's keep it basketball. What Greg Popovich used to do to Tim Duncan, right? Tim Duncan would do nothing wrong, and he would yell at him to wake everybody up. And he specifically picked on Tim Duncan because he knew Tim Duncan could handle it.
And Steven Jackson alluded to that. He was like, that was the one thing I respected about him because he got on his stars the same way he got on his role players. Right. There was no favoritism. There was no, I'm gonna let this guy just do whatever. Like, no, everybody's getting the same treatment. And I just think Brad Stevens wasn't always the greatest guy. I mean, I don't even think he really did that, honestly. I don't think he ever really challenged any of his players to like you said, push that button and get everybody going.
It's just amazing, Freddie. I can't. He said every coach can't do that. And you're right. That's what separates great coaches from great coaches.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
That is what separates them. You know what I mean? Like, again, Brad Stevens, I liked him. I liked him personally. I thought he was a good coach. I never really called him a great coach because when it comes to like on the whiteboard, dude is smart. But then
yes, absolutely.
Also, it's the emotional part, that second half that he really did that makes you be good and it brings you up to great. But I'm not even gonna entertain Freddie no more because he said in the comments. Here's the thing that baffles me. Alina, you and I are already saying this stuff. He then repeats what we say and he said he teaches.
Yeah, and then he listen. This is what Freddie does. This is why you have to just understand that he claims to be the teacher, but Honestly, he's the student for real. Like, if we can just be honest, he's the student. We teach him more than he teaches us. Let's just keep it honest.
Jesus, Fredward. Look here, Fredward.
Yeah, Fredward is not. It's not looking good for you, Fredward.
So Damian Lillard, I guess he's still loyal, and Bradley Beal. I don't know how he's loyal. Like this dude is phenomenal.
What?
I don't know. Congratulations to that, but it hasn't brought them any success. Only I'm gonna bring it to you. Who do you think should get traded? Like, who do you think should demand a trade? Do you think one of them or both of them?
I'm gonna go both. I think Damian Lillard has to, and I respect the heck out of Damian Lillard for the fact that he's pretty much like, you know what, I'm gonna just grind it out. I'm gonna be loyal to one team. I'm gonna have the Mamba mentality, and that's fine and dandy. But the problem is, the Mamba mentality doesn't work in this league. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work the way the NBA is right now.
I just want to throw it out there real quick. I don't mean it. I'm just throwing it there. You said the Mamba mentality is not going to work. I'm telling you right now, Freddie's punching his keyboard. He's going to say something about that. I guarantee.
Oh, that's fine. Listen, ain't nobody scared of Freddie. But anyway, like it just that whole being loyal to the one team and I'm just gonna thug it out is not. It doesn't work in today's league. Now, like I said, if he was in like back in the 90s, early 2000s, whatever the case, like that would be perfect. But right now, it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? You being loyal is you're gonna average all these stats. You're gonna be an all-star. That's a given. You know, you might lead the league in scoring. That's a given. You might set records. That's a given. Winning a championship with the Portland Trailblazers and CJ McCollum is not gonna happen. So you might as well. Here for you.
Yeah, you got Fred.
He'll be all right. So yeah, he gotta, you know what I'm saying? He has to demand a trade. I know it's probably gonna kill him to do that, but he has to do that unless Portland can bring on another superstar, which I don't think so, because Portland unfortunately is a small market team. Not a lot of big stars want to go play in Portland. And same thing with Bradley Beal with DC. It's like, I understand, you know, you want it to be like mentally tough, and I'm gonna thug it. I'm gonna stay with one team, and I don't need. That's fine, but that doesn't work in today's NBA. It just doesn't. And like Bradley Beal, again, if he stays in Washington, it's going to be another case of you averaging all these stats, superstar, even possibly Hall of Fame if you keep playing at the level that you're playing at. But how bad do you want to win? Because if that's the case, you gonna have to bring somebody to Washington or you gonna have to go somewhere else. Which again, Washington is a small market team. Not a lot of people want to play in Washington.
Yep.
It's, you know what I'm saying? So it's like. So it's just like, honestly, for me, if I'm looking at both of those guys, I say both of them need to demand a trade.
Yeah, I'm with you. Damian Lillard's kind of in the point of his career where he kind of, you know, now people are starting to knock him for not.
Yeah, for not exactly. He's in that Chris Paul era of his.
Right, and again, Freddie, when you say do what Bron do, take the easy way out, that just shows me you're just trying to hate on LeBron, because you even said it this morning when we were talking. Bron wasn't going to be able to win there, in Cavaliers the first time, because they weren't really giving him much. So they
weren't giving him anything, and wasn't nobody coming to Cleveland.
Right, and not only that, he goes to Miami. He puts them back on the map, because people like to forget that. Don't forget that Miami was going through some bad times before Bron came.
Oh, hey,
you know me? D-Wade. Look, I'm not even gonna waste my time. If people say it's the easy way out, I don't know what to. This is where I don't understand where this loyalty thing came from. I really don't.
Exactly. I don't either, but I'm just use that as an example, but I don't either.
Right, man, like, I don't understand where that came from. Where if you leave a team, that is now bad on you. But at the same time, if you want to win, you need to do whatever you do. You need to win. Not
only that, but that same team could trade you for kibbles and bits, and it's like, that's just business.
Right. So it's kind of like, for me personally, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, if I'm Damian Lillard, I demand a trade. I demand a trade.
Absolutely.
And if I'm Bradley Beal, same thing. Here's the thing: you can't say them demanding a trade is taking the easy way out. And hold on. And you said blame Bron on this. No, I'm not. Because at the end of the day, like you said, Elena, a team could trade you and it's business. Why can't a player take his career in his own hands?
That's what I'm saying. And another thing, too, people have to consider when it comes to LeBron and like the whole Cleveland Cavalier thing is that if you don't have an owner that's not only that's not loyal to you, that doesn't really care about your future success, on top of the fact that he just expects you just because you're the second coming, like you're just supposed to just do it. You're just supposed to have it.
Yep.
You're supposed to just have it because you from Cleveland, like you're never gonna leave. Like I don't really have to give you anything because why would you leave? You know what I'm saying?
And on top of that, and here's the other thing, but before I let you wrap up, here's the other thing, like we also need to put it into context. We need to see where if they leave, where do they go to? For instance.
Exactly. Yeah, what would make the most sense. Yeah.
Yeah, like if Damian Lillard goes to, let's say, the 76ers, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they need a guy like Lillard so he can basically come and save the day and be that guy. If
you mean the guy that'll shoot?
Yeah, if he ends up going to like I don't know, like a team that really doesn't need him. Let's say the Lakers, or let's say a healthy Golden State. Like I think that's kind of when we got to look at him and say that he's selling out or whatever. I don't think him demanding a trade and him going to a place where he's the difference maker. He's the last.
Yes, exactly.
Bradley Beal, if they go to a place like that, to all of a sudden be like, oh my goodness, he's sold out.
Yeah,
I don't think so because again, this is kind of where people who take. I don't take loyalty to the Mavs. I don't.
Right.
And the reason being is because these are the same guys, Fredward, who kill a guy for not wanting to win. Then when he makes moves to leave.
To win, the same thing that you said he couldn't do.
Right, and I want to address this because this man said the Lakers should trade for Russ for Ben. This is actually what I said.
That would be worse than okay.
No, it won't be. Just take a ride with me. I said Ben Simmons is one of the people they should look for. And mind you, I said when this happened, not now, in like I think Freddie said in 30 to 40 games, if this doesn't work out, should they consider trading Russ? I said they should. Right?
Because that's a waste of time. That's enough sample size to know if it's going to work.
Right, and he said they should trade for Buddy Hield. And I said that's stupid because at this point, Sacramento probably won't want nothing to do with you, and two, if you think about it, why would the Kings want Russ? They're a young team, and he said for ticket sales, and it's like, I guess, but at the same time, that's kind of going to make De'Aaron Fox feel some type because Russ can and take the ball. So
and Russ is set in his ways too, so you got to also consider that as well.
Right. So my thing was, if you, I don't think Buddy Hield. I said a guy they should look at. That's exactly what I said. One guy they should look at. So I'm not saying that this is the end all and be all. And no, Freddie, that's exactly what you said. You said they should trade for Buddy Hield, and I said no, and you said it would make sense because they would draw tickets. That's exactly what you said, Fredward.
Which I don't. Since when did ticket sales become like a selling point as far as where a guy should go? Like I don't know. Confusing to me. Like,
Freddie,
that's mind blowing.
And real quick, Freddie, if I'm changing the narrative, explain. Like, tell me why the Kings would take Russ. Go ahead, and then I'll put your comment up there. I promise. But for me personally, I just think that's not a good. It wouldn't make sense for Sacramento. And like I said, Sacramento's already butthurt because they already pulled on the Buddy Hield trade before, so they already did that. So they're kind of salty. But he doesn't want to type it because he knows I'm right. Anyway, the reason I said they should go get a guy like a Ben Simmons, first and foremost, whoever they trade for shouldn't be a premier guy. He should be at best a third guy. And right now, where Ben Simmons is, he's a third guy. Like if you put him in that offense, and this is what I said. What I said was, you're losing shooting, and that is true. You're gonna lose shooting. Which is funny because somebody asked Freddie, where does all the shooting come from? And he said, oh, it comes from a group. So I'm like, all right, so then that doesn't mean, and that's kind of confusing. And Freddie, I'm gonna get there because you said we would have the same problem. Yes and no, and I'm explaining. With Ben Simmons, you don't get shooting. However, you get a legit floor general. You get a guy who can give you probably 7 assists with low turnovers. You don't get the same amount of reckless turnovers you get with Russ. And on top of that, you also have a guy who can hold you down defensively. The Lakers defensively right now is struggling. And you asked Freddie, what is the biggest problem? He said defense. So I'm like, if you put a guy like Russ, not Russ, if you put a guy
like Ben,
in there, he can help. And I said it fits perfectly. The only fit that it doesn't fit is in terms of shooting. That's really the only issue. But the way I'm looking at it is, if you're looking at this, he fits every other hole. Like he helped in every other way, but shooting. Shooting is really the only thing that he kind of doesn't have. And Bishop was making the thing was, if potentially him being there could make him develop a jump shot. And I'm not. Freddie, explain how though. Explain how. I'm saying literally the same thing I said. The only difference is your voice isn't drowning it out.
Yeah, that part. That's the most important part.
Yeah, because the thing is, they're thinking that because they're looking at it solely on shooting. And shooting, Ben doesn't give you much. I get that. But I said there's gonna be times where Bron wants to kind of just, do his thing, and I want to hold on. Well, I got you, Fredward. Don't worry about it. We're going to get him in here. But here's the thing. Like, my thing is, for me, and again, this is just me, when it comes to, and again, I'm not saying that that's the only trade. What I'm saying, all right, Freddie, hop in here.
Oh, Jesus. You could have, see, now the show's going to hell. Because this guy is about to just about to be talking a whole bunch of nonsense, doing a bunch of yelling. You know what, Freddie? You know what? You give me Skip Bayless vibes. You give me Skip Bayless vibes because you just do a whole bunch of yelling, and you think just because you be yelling, you're right.
Right. Look, all I'm saying is it's not the best fit, but it's a sensical fit. It still fits and it still works because you're plugging up a lot of other holes. And like I said, in turn, here it comes. I'm so glad.
Oh, God.
So glad.
Oh,
hello, Miss Elena. How are you doing?
Oh, Jesus. I was doing fine before you came. I understand. How are you doing, Freddie?
Oh, I'm good. What's up, Pride?
What's up, Fredward? How you feeling today?
You know what?
All right, so Freddie.
If you going to say something I say, please come correct.
That's what I'm saying. Pose the question that you said.
I asked 25 to 30 games down the line. If the big three don't work from Davis, Russ, and LeBron, who do you think it's time to trade Russ and for who?
Okay.
And,
hold that. Elena, is that not what I said?
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that part. Did I say that part?
I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I just want to make sure so that way, I just want to make sure. Now, all of a sudden, so what did I mess up? Where did I mess up, Freddie?
You messed up because you didn't add all the context to the discussion. What I said was, for a man like you and Elena, who have watched LeBron their whole career, knows this man strives on having another knockdown 3-point shooter in the corner. Why would you trade? You're going to trade Russ. Why would you get Ben, who you're going to have the same problem with, instead of going to get a Buddy Hield or even any type of knockdown 3-point shooter?
Because this is the problem that I'm trying to explain to you, Freddie. I'm not saying Buddy Hield is not a good fit. He would be. And I'm not saying that you'll only go out and get Ben Simmons. What I'm saying is if they go to Sacramento, the only piece they have to give is Russ. That's pretty sure the only piece they're going to want to give up.
They'll be the best player on their team. That's a bum franchise. The Kings are not no top tier team. They can't be picky what somebody offer them. Who the hell do they think they are?
They can't because right now they're in a position of power.
Power?
Yeah. In terms
when last time they made it to the playoffs, sir?
See, but again,
I don't think he means that. That.
I'm so glad I'll get to be the whole. Yo, Freddie, now you get to see how
what power do they got.
Now you get to see how it feels.
They have the upper. They just have.
I'm talking about in the trade. I'm talking about if you want to go, if they want, what's it called? Let's say right now the Lakers go, they call them and say, hey, Russ for Buddy Hield. The Sacramento Kings are like, if you want us to take Russ, you're going to have to give us money. They're in that position of power because you know what I mean? Like you guys want, that's why I'm saying on top of that, you said they'll get Russ for tickets, correct? Like, cause he's a big name.
Yeah, nobody going to Sacramento game. He'll sell out down there. What are you talking about?
But my thing is, what if they don't want Russ for that? What if they just kind of want to keep developing the young guys they have? That's the thing.
Sacramento is ready to get out the basement. They're ready to go to the playoffs.
But Russ, I don't know if Russ will take them there. I don't know.
We've seen him take. Yeah,
I mean,
we've seen.
But as constructed, they might be the plan.
I don't know. We've seen Russ take bums to the playoffs. It was like I was telling Mike last night. Let's not forget that this man did take that OKC. I believe it's a top 4, top 5 seed the year that he did it.
They were fifth and got bounced in the first round. Yes, I remember that.
So what? What are the Kings are going to get bounced out the first round too? So what does it matter?
I'm just saying. Look, all I'm saying. Look, later, real quick before I let you go.
Since you brought up Mike, you gonna leave Mike alone too.
Hey,
you gonna leave Mike alone.
Leave Mike alone. He just living his best life. Leave Mike alone. Look, all I'm saying is if you get Ben Simmons, a lot of the holes you have on that team gets plugged up. Like they get stopped. Now, I understand shooting. Defensively, yes, they help you. He helps you tremendously defensively. A guy who can consistently guard 1 through 5. And on top of that, a guy who without a jump shot still giving you 15 points per game, he's going to be the third guy. When LeBron wants to just be like, okay, I want to focus on scoring, you now have Ben Simmons to just run the offense. And on top of that, for all you saying, they're not going to shoot, I understand that, but then he'll just drive and score because he's very efficient in the thing.
The thing is, the Lakers have shooters. They just need to figure out rotations. That's their problem.
And Wayne Ellington is hurt.
They have.
That comes to my point because they have shooting around them. The 76ers kind of was like, it's Ben or bust. When you put Ben in a situation where he's the last guy in a big three, it's like, okay, Ben, for a couple possessions, you're just going to go out and play defense. And then we'll have Bron run it. And he has good off-ball movement. So it's not like it's not like he's just gonna be standing there or something like that. Like he'll be able to do backdoor cuts where Bron can find him and feed him and take care of him. So all I'm saying, it's not as crazy as you guys want to make it seem to be.
It is crazy.
No, it's not, because again, the only issue with it is Ben Simmons doesn't shoot. And again,
no, that's not the only reason. He has no heart. It's not even that he can't shoot. It's that he don't shoot.
No heart that doesn't come into effect when you're the third guy.
How do we know? How do we know he won't be in a situation where Trae Young got to go and he won't shoot? How do we know? How do we know that?
Because you got two other guys that will.
Exactly.
But what if he's in position that he has to do it? We don't know what the scenario of that game will be. If he can't make it in Philadelphia, he can't make it in LA. He need to go to Cleveland.
But when Joel Embiid 100%. When Joel Embiid
Detroit.
Hold on. When Joel Embiid was out, Ben Simmons cooked. He was cooking people. So to pretend like Ben Simmons can't sometimes hold it down?
Sometimes. What about all the time? All the time. We pay you all that money for you to be a soft-minded.
Freddie, as the third guy, you don't always have to hold it down. As the third guy, that's the point I'm trying to get you to say.
On this team, you might. You know why? You know why?
And why?
Can I tell you why?
Why?
We don't know what's going to happen with LeBron's injury. We don't know if he'll get hurt down the line. I mean, let's not act like that's not a possibility.
And you ready to hear the funny part, Lena? We're talking about injury and thinking Russ is going to save the day. Who is injury prone himself?
Mm-hmm.
So again,
you didn't hear one thing. You're talking out your ass yet again. You didn't hear one thing I said.
As well as Anthony Davis. We can't forget Anthony Davis.
You didn't hear one thing I said. You didn't hear one thing I said. You said the Ben do not have to be the third option to do it every day. I said he might, because we don't know if Russ, AD, whoever's going to go down, he might have to turn into be that number 2 option. We don't know.
Him do that. Listen, I'm going to put it to this way. Elena, when no jump shot, the kids have given you 50 points per game.
Yeah.
That's not a jump shot. So to pretend like the kid for a stretch, if Bron goes, yo, man, I'm out for a week. To pretend like Ben Simmons can't hold it down for that stretch is bugging.
No, that's not bugging. I'm going off what we seen. This dude is a weak-minded individual. He haven't got better since he got in the NBA at all, and he don't want to get better.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm not even going with the
you have to consider this as well, and I think that I think you might have touched on it prior, or maybe you didn't. It's that when you're playing with a guy like LeBron James, like you said, Ben being a third option is honestly the best option for him. Mm-hmm. Because look at when he, I mean, look at the third options that he's had. They've all excelled. They've all succeeded. They've all been great in their own right. And LeBron James is one of the best passers ever. So it's like
I'm not gonna say ever. He's one of the best ones, but
I said that's what I just said.
You said ever.
No,
you said ever. No, you said ever. I heard you.
One of the best.
Okay,
ever. That's what I said. Okay. One of the best ever. Is what I said.
Yo, Freddie want to be right so bad.
He want to be right because you're wrong. Because I know what I said.
I'm liking this troll role, bro. Like, hey,
anyway,
I've never tried this route, but hey, I love it.
Like I was saying, LeBron is one of the best again, Freddie, one of the best.
Say it better. Say it louder next time. Thank you.
In the NBA period, so he's gonna put Ben Simmons in positions where he knows he can be successful. He's not gonna.
Why haven't he done that with Russ?
Because, and I'm explaining why.
No, you didn't let me finish.
Ding.
We're trying to explain it. Hold on.
Exactly. You let us talk.
The reason he hasn't done it with Russ is simple. Russ has never been Russ needs to be that guy. The way Ben Simmons is playing right now, he's playing like a number 3 guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at how he plays.
You like always got an excuse, Pride. You can hear the goals.
How is it an excuse?
You always move it.
Russ, see, Elena, you answer his question. He don't like the answer. He says you're moving the ball.
Exactly.
You don't want to say this man's a weak-minded individual that don't want to get better at his game. That do not want to improve.
That's a consensus.
But he doesn't.
That's a consensus.
Exactly. The thing is why it's gonna work is because he doesn't want to be a Russ. Ben doesn't want to be a Russ, and he don't.
What's wrong with
being
a Russ?
Laker. He don't have to be. Because what's wrong with being a Russ
the Lakers
in this position? Exactly, because what's wrong with being a Russ in this position is that you don't know when to turn it down. Like I always say about Russ, and I love Russ. Russ' greatest strength is his greatest weakness. Mm-hmm. He don't know how to turn it down. You don't have to go 100 miles per hour every single time. You don't have to be the guy to shoot the ball every single time. Sometimes it's okay.
I just wish he gives some of that to Braun, where he can go 100% every time.
No, you say that until it costs him the game, until his energy costs you out of the game, that all of a sudden.
No, LeBron quit. I'm tired of quitters on my team, man.
LeBron doesn't quit.
He quit. He quit Friday night. Last Friday night, he quit yet again. Against the same team he did in the playoffs.
He mad that Bron didn't give a
no heart
in the third game of an 82 season.
Yeah, he gave up. We don't like bad habits in LA.
Listen, please.
Hold on. You don't like bad habits in LA, but you're defending Russ, who is a habitual bad habit maker.
Well, I know one thing about Russ. He's never going to cheat us with effort. And that's one thing I know.
Well, okay.
That's one thing I do know.
But here's the problem.
Yes. That's one thing I do know.
Here's the problem I have with that. I don't mind effort when you know what you're doing with it. If you're telling me a big man like Joel, like here's the thing. If Jonas Valanciunas gives me the effort, you're not going to see him chucking up threes when he sucks at 3-point line. You're not going to see him do that. I don't mind.
It's not about that. It's about showing effort. He don't show.
And the problem with that is you can't sit there and say, in the same breath, I like the effort, but then the effort is being applied wrong. That's the problem.
I like strategical effort. I don't like misplaced effort.
Okay. Well, when it's a form, when the team going on offense, on defense, and he not chasing back, then come talk to me.
And that's fine, but hold
on, no,
that's not fine. He did that same crap in the playoffs last year.
No, but hold on.
With half an ankle, but
are we gonna stay here? No.
That ankle was fine. He was dunking on people. He was dunking on people. So I don't want to hear about no ankle.
It was fine.
Here's I don't want to hear nothing about no ankle.
Here's the part that baffles me. If you go look at Russ's tape, you've seen him, in your words, give up before.
When?
There's been multiple times he'll gamble on a steal, miss it, go half court, stop, and watch the play unfold.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that. But I've seen LeBron come out there passing the ball.
You've never seen Houston, and again, you haven't seen Houston basketball. You haven't seen Wizard basketball. You haven't seen OKC basketball.
You do realize in Houston that he was having a good year until the playoffs where he pulled his hamstring. You do realize that, right? Everybody failed to realize that.
Oh, but he was still dunking on people. He was still dunking on people with a pulled hamstring. So
no, he was not. He was a spot-up shooter. Go watch the film. He was a spot-up shooter. Go watch the film.
And on top of that, Freddie, I love how you
brought up. Go watch the film. Go do your research.
Russ ain't never been a spot-up shooter a day in his
life.
He couldn't move. Go do your research.
That's bullshit.
But I'm not even going to go with it. This is my thing, and I'm glad you brought up Houston.
Go do your research.
Here's been the problem. You look at Russ, right? Russ, the best team success he's had ever since Katie left him was where? In Houston. That's the best team success he had, right? Ever since Katie left.
No.
How?
I said the OKC team when he took him to the playoffs.
How?
When he took him to the playoffs. 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 When he took him to That Houston team didn't live up. That Houston team did not live up to expectations.
Cut him out the feed, please, Pride.
100%. I gotta. For you to sit there, hold on. Now, don't go nowhere, Freddie, because I need to be able to say this, right? The Rockets made what the in the bubble? What was it? The finals or the semifinals?
The semis.
Semis, and that's the
first. Because they lost. Because they went to the second round. That's the semis. So yeah, they lost to the Lakers.
And he's been a first round exit since
the semis. Mm-hmm.
So here's the $1 million question, and Freddie, I want you to answer it. The most team success he's had was in Houston. That's the furthest he made it in the playoffs.
That's not his best success, though.
But I'm talking team success.
How can you say that?
Team success?
That wasn't his team. That was James Harden's team.
Team success.
Was that not his team or James Harden's team? Yes or no?
It doesn't make any sense.
Yes or no?
He was,
exactly.
He was a part of it. And he was he was a prominent part of it. I don't understand what you're trying to say. He was on that team, right or wrong?
Yes. Did he not have a hamstring injury? Yes or no?
Was he still dunking on people with that hamstring?
No, he was not.
Yes,
he was a spot-up shooter. Go do your research.
He was still driving.
He was still driving. Please.
No, he was not. Go do, because they was asking like, what's going on with Russ?
You got
Y'all need to go do y'all research, man.
You want to know why he started shooting? Because LeBron literally was letting him bring the ball up, and LeBron was away from at the free.
Elena, don't let him take you away from your ethics, because he don't do the research. But I know you better than that, sis. I know you better than that. Don't let him persuade you to the dark side.
Problem is, I do the research. You just don't like the facts I'm spitting.
No, the dude had a bad hamstring. It was reported the whole series. They's like, why is Russ taking?
No, but you said it doesn't matter. You said it doesn't matter because LeBron had an injured ankle, and you said it didn't matter.
He didn't have a bad ankle. He was dunking on people. Russ, he wasn't doing none of that. He quit. He had no heart. That's who your king is.
People were asking what was wrong with him because he was
the king. Freddie, the same king that you called the GOAT, Freddie.
He's not the GOAT. He's not the GOAT.
Oh, now
he's not. Nope. He's not the GOAT because he quits. Yeah, he showed the same flashes like he did in Dallas. Quit.
He quit.
No.
Boy, you sound about crazy.
You sound crazy.
Freddie, honestly, Freddie, real question. Do you wake up every day and say, how much blasphemous can I spit
100%.
today? Like, no. Do you? I feel like you are Skip Bayless. Like, I feel like you and Skip Bayless wake up every day.
The difference is I love Bron. I love what the man stands for. I love him as a player. But we got to call a spade a spade. The dude quit from time to time.
You wake up every day and say, you know what? What is the most trolling statement I could say to get people talking, to get people arguing, to get people to get under people's skin?
That comes normal. I don't have to go see anything about it.
What can I do to do that? And I feel like you just find a way every single day, Freddie. It's honestly a great skill because wow, like you do it every day.
You know what I think is funny, Elena? I had to come on this man's show, rile him up.
Here we go.
I had to come call him out. And I'm surprised he allowed me on. But you know what? I've been trying to get on your show, Elena, but I think your viewers not ready for me.
Oh, wow.
Your viewers not ready for a person like me to put you down like that. Because you know what? Because I come on the show, they say, that man really know what he's talking about. He really smart. I don't think they're ready for somebody like me.
Freddie, you can't.
Y'all going to make me start my own podcast.
Freddie, you can't put me. Freddie, you can't put me down. I'm not a dog player. You can't put me down.
I never put you down because I'm going to hype you up because I believe what you do. But you let people like this man next to you put you in a whole nother situation, Elena, because a lot of stuff that you normally say be spot on. But you've been hanging around this man and talking to him and stuff, and he done persuaded you to a whole different person.
Matter of fact, Freddie, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here because I want to go with your Lakers talk, right? You're one of the people who's been calling for Frank Vogel to get fired. You've been leading the charge. Don't do that. Don't do that, Elena. Hasn't he been one of the people?
Yes, absolutely. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, talk about he changed he's switching the goalposts. Anyway. Do you think that the LA should move on from Frank Vogel? Here comes the flippity floppers. Watch.
Depends on who's out there. I mean, you do have a David Fizdale on your bench. I think, to be honest with you, think about it right now. The biggest loss for the Lakers is losing Jason Kidd to Dallas. That was a guy that LeBron and him had a great relationship. They, trusted one another. They played on the Olympic team together. Jason Kidd's offensive mind is just as open as LeBron. Only thing J Kidd don't have what Frank Vogel do is the defense. Well, apparently the personnel is nothing but offense. Well, you kind of would like to have an offensive-minded coach where you can kind of put, Russ and Bron, because I'm not worried about AD. AD going to be AD. It's really between Russ and Bron that you got to figure out. Okay, are you going to stagger Russ minutes? Are you going to, and that's what I think Vogel's trying to do. I don't know if you guys noticed in the first quarter, like they played Russ like 5-6 minutes and they put him on the bench real quick. Then let Russ run the second unit. I think there's going to be a lot more of that. I think it's just going to figure out how they're going to make that fourth quarter work, honestly. But, man, I'll say 35, 40 games in, if we're not seeing – I'm not talking about the offense. I believe they're still ranked number 2 offense. That's crazy to believe that right now. If they can't figure it out on the defensive end, on how – I'm not saying they need to be like these last couple of years, be the number 1, top 5. They just need to be – they just be top 10, okay? What I'm saying, the reason I say that top 10 during the season and in the playoffs, you get down to top 5 because this team is built for the playoffs. That's what I'm saying on that. So if they don't get to the top 10 on defense about 25, 30 games down in the season, depending on do you trust in David Fisdale or what coaches out there that you can trust to help them, bring this team together and, a team that, Russ will buy into, Bron will buy into. And I mean, it's a tough situation, honestly. Maybe they go on Genie, go out there and put some of that Genie magic on Phil Jackson and maybe get him to come out of retirement.
Not Genie magic.
I just find it funny because
would y'all like Phil Jackson as the coach though? Like
no, I would
No, not the coach of Bron, because I think him and Bron don't really have the greatest relationship. If you recall, when
the phony comment,
the phony and the whole posse comment.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Posse.
And Bron wasn't feeling that, so that wouldn't really make any sense because I think Bron is a guy that don't forget.
Right, and on top of that, having Phil Jackson coming coaching this team, I don't think that would actually work out because, frankly. Look, do I think Frank Vogel should be fired? No, not at all. But if he does get fired, why wouldn't you give the job to David Fitz, who everybody not only loves, but himself loves?
Yeah, he's a great coach.
Yeah, listen, when he got kicked out of Memphis, everyone in their moms outside of that organization knew Fitz got done wrong.
Yeah, absolutely, and he was gonna get another job.
I wouldn't even mind Phil Handy. I like Phil Handy as a coach as well.
I like Phil Handy too. Yeah, Phil Handy's a good coach too.
And he's been around with Bron for a while now too. So.
Right. But again, it all really comes down, like you said, Freddie, defensively. Frank Vogel is a defensive-minded coach, but the problem is if you don't have that defense, if you don't have the personnel, you can't do nothing. Look, Tom Thibodeau is considered one of the greatest defensive minds in basketball. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was his first or second year with the Timberwolves. They were ranked and like one of the bottom 5 teams in defense. He just didn't have the personnel. So I think that's kind of what it really comes down to. I feel like if they had a ball stopper, I think it would look a little different. Because the problem really isn't the paint. Because listen,
they do. I mean, because there's a couple players right now, the key players that I feel like for their team that is currently missing. Right. As far as on the defensive side of the ball, so it's definitely going to make a difference. As far as like Wayne Ellington, we got Trevor Ariza, like not only Avery Bradley, like when those guys kind of get currently constructed back into the roster, I think it'll make a difference on defense. My problem with Frank Vogel though is that
his rotation is jacked up.
As a coach, you have to know that Russ and Rondo is stupid as hell to put together on the floor at the same time.
But I think Pride said this.
It makes no sense to have both because you have two guys that aren't great shooters.
Well, I think Pride said this.
You know what I mean? Like it's just.
I think Pride said this. He did that to kind of make Russ be at the 2, let him kind of score a little bit more. Yeah. Than worrying about.
But the problem with that is Russ isn't consistent enough as far as shooting wise. Like
the only thing is like they have him, so they need to figure out how to make him fit. Like I'll be honest. If I was running the Lakers organization, I don't care how mad he got. For me, he'd be coming off the bench.
For sure.
Who would have that conversation with him though?
Huh?
Bron.
Who's gonna have that conversation?
It would have to be
Bron. It's gotta be Bron.
It'd have to be either. This is how the conversation would have to go. Because if Frank Vogel says it, Russ probably won't respect it. Genie's
not going to. It's not even probably about it. He's not going to.
But here's what they should do. It should be Frank Vogel there, maybe Fitz if you're thinking about having him in, Genie, Bron, and AD.
Honestly, I think you're right about a couple, and I would exclude some people. If it was me, I would do Bron, AD, Fitzdale, and Phil Handy, because those are guys that all can relate to Russ.
No. That's not why I said that. I'm gonna tell you why I said Frank Vogel.
Go ahead.
You're gonna have Frank Vogel tell him the news. Then, if he has an issue from it, he has backup in not only LeBron and not only Anthony Davis and Jeannie Buss. He has Frank Vogel's gonna have some backup, so Russ is gonna have to be like, "All right, fine, it is what it is." That's how I'm looking at it. Because the thing is, look, Frank Vogel's gonna have to say it, and Russ won't respect it. But if you have other guys behind him saying all at the same time, saying, "Russ, come on, bro, you're gonna have to come off the bench whether you like it or not, bro. Like, we gotta make it work." I feel like that might give not only Frank Vogel some respect for him saying it, but it might resonate a little better throughout. I don't know.
I got two things.
Go ahead.
I got two things. Do you not think they had him, AD, Bron, they talked in the off season. Do you might think that maybe did not come up at all? I mean that could have been at least one scenario that possibly.
I don't think so. I think right now how they're playing, to me, it looks like they never had that conversation. Because if they did have that conversation, Russ would have been on the bench by now. If that was a conversation they had, I don't think that's a conversation they had, and they're kind of forcing it because in their minds they're like, well.
But I think it's a little bit too early to put him on the bench. I think you still got to give him like that 10, 15 game. Because I mean, let's be honest, him and Bron really only played 2 games together. I mean, they haven't really, So let's, If you
want to go that route, that's fine. But my thing is, look, Russ is not going to really want to come off the bench. I don't think that they ever had that conversation. If they did, then we'll see how it plays out later.
And then my other thing is, it's the Russ. Like, bro, it's like when Dwight was here the first time. Like, man, you have Shaq, you have Kareem, like you have all the greatest big men to work with. Russ, Magic Johnson is in the city, like one of the greatest point guards to ever lace it up. Like,
he complimented you, bro. Like, he went out his way to compliment you. Like, right before he stepped down, he complimented Russ about the triple doubles thing, and he was like, "Oh, he's a hell of a player." So I'm pretty sure if Russ were to reach out to Magic, he would get a response.
Yeah. But
my question is, do you think the Lakers should reach out to Magic? Say, hey, can you come and kind of like put Russ under your arm, like kind of mentor him, kind of give him some advice, and kind of teach him?
I don't think that would be a bad idea.
What I would do, I wouldn't reach out to Magic first. I would sit down with Russ and say, "Hey, Russ, how would you feel spending some time with Magic and chopping it up with him?"
But see, here's the thing.
That's when I would bring in Magic. Because the thing is, if you go to Magic first and Russ goes, "Yeah, he's cool and all, but I don't want to learn anything," now we're at a moot point. And we've seen Magic. If you don't want me here, I'm going. Like, we've seen him.
The fact that you bring that up, probably is why I don't think Frank Vogel should be the one to deliver the news to Russ, because in Russ's mind, it's gonna be, y'all talked about this before you came to me. So it's gonna be he's gonna, because Russ is that kind of dude. His mentality is very much like street code. So it's like
he bullheaded.
He bullheaded. So it's like if you go in there and you have Frank Vogel lead the charge and you got Bron and AD behind him, like, yeah, man, you should. To him, how he's gonna process it is not like, oh, this.
I think it should be Bron, him one-on-one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because he's gonna process it as y'all was talking about this prior to y'all coming to me, so y'all been talking behind my back, basically, and that's how he's gonna receive it. That's why I said it should be Bron, AD, Phil Handy, and Dave Fizdale, because then at least. And even don't even have to be them. It could even be Bron and AD, because at least it's like, okay, these is my teammates. They came to me as men. I can respect that a lot more than you bringing this guy in and having him lead the charge.
This how it should be
behind him, and then y'all confirming what he's saying. Because, like I said, to him, it's gonna be like, well, why didn't y'all just come to me? Why did you have to bring him in? You know what I'm saying? Like that's how Russ thinks. That's how he processes.
Right, but at the same time, and I'm gonna let you go, Freddie. But this is the question I'm gonna pose to the both of you guys. Shouldn't Frank Vogel, he is the head coach, shouldn't he be like, being the one to tell Russ? Because at the end of the day, because he needs to earn his stripes. Because some people believe, and I think Freddie, you're one of them. You feel like he still hasn't earned his stripes in terms of being a Laker coach.
No, I believe he's a good coach, but he's not a great coach. I just don't think he's a good coach for this team. Like that championship team, we was defensive minded, that dog mindset. He was a good fit for that team. I just don't
look at him how I described Luke Walton, a situational coach.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was one of the ones that I love Luke Walton. I like Luke Walton, one of the young coaches. Me personally, I don't think the Lakers really gave him a fair opportunity because if you expected that year when he was LeBron's first year coach to take that team to the playoffs, Bron went down, Ingram went down. I mean, we was winning. We was winning.
Yeah, so it was a lot. It was a lot going on.
I'm like, how can you expect? I believe that whole Magic thing kind of convinced Jeanie to go a different way, and it was really emotional. They had to make some choices because that was the first year Bron there. You didn't want him to, lose. You didn't want to lose Bron. You didn't want to lose the AD deal. I mean, it just had a lot of things, going where Jeanie had to make a decision. And which I'm glad, that she made the decision because one thing, Jeanie, man, she, I love Jeanie. She's like one of the greatest owners ever. But the thing is, she get too tied up to somebody, like with the young players.
Emotionally invested.
Yeah, she don't like seeing players get traded and get stuff like that. She and and it's cool. But you have to remember, this is a business as well.
Yeah, and that's Dr. Buss will get you up out of there.
Bro, could you imagine if Dr. Jerry Buss is running this team right now? Could you just imagine?
Everyone getting traded. I'm going to tell you this right now. If Dr. Buss was running this organization, they don't get Russ.
If Dr. Jerry Buss was running our business, LeBron would have been in LA when Kobe was alive, when Kobe was playing.
Yep.
Probably.
There was a Bleacher Report reported that
Kobe's last couple years that they would have got Bron.
Bleacher Report reported that Dr. Jerry Buss was interested in going to get Bron. And I mean, how could LeBron? I mean, just imagine how could Bron sit in front of Dr. Jerry Buss and say, "No, I don't want to come to LA."
And then you bring in Magic Johnson too. Yeah, it would have been over with.
Yeah, it would have been great. You would have had LeBron because at the time Kobe was probably, you could say he was at the tail end of his career. So
or that Chris Paul deal would not go down the way it did as well. I believe,
I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Dr. Butts, I don't think he even tries to go get him because I don't know because that thing that whole because David Stern was a part owner of
That was weird though, bro. Like how you
that was crazy how that
because no one really talked about David Stern being a part owner. Yeah. That's kind of the first time a lot of people realized he was a part owner.
Yeah, that was the first time I heard that.
Yeah, because I really don't really keep up with the owners like that because the only time you really keep up with them is in football because the owners make that big three of Dan Snyder, Robert Kraft, and Jerry Jones. Them dudes be controlling a lot. But in basketball, it's not really like that. And it was the first time that, when the commissioner kind of nixed it, I was confused. And then I looked into it, and I'm like, who's Mo on a team? I'm like, what?
That's kind of shady. Hey, did y'all hear about the Suns owner? Did y'all hear what's going on down there?
So
I did. I heard bits and pieces. Can it refresh my memory a little bit?
So go ahead, Freddie. If you want this one, you can take it if you want.
I kind of remember bits and pieces of him sending racials, talking races, sexual harassment and stuff like that. And there's report that they had enough evidence to really sit him down, but you just really haven't heard any much. Pretty much. That was last week. Yeah, I haven't heard anything since then, but I just think it's kind of crazy. I believe it came out the day the Lakers playing Phoenix. I believe. It was just real crazy.
I would say I kind of heard bits and pieces that he was because I know the Suns released a statement and the Phoenix Mercury, the WNBA team, they released a statement as well in regards to that. But it's just it's one of those things where it's it's not surprising. What did you expect? You have these white men in power making all this money, dictating, what's going on, and it's you don't think that they're racist? Did you not see?
Did you see Enes Kanter's shoes last night? I believe he said something modern day slavery, and I'm I love that part. It takes courage to say that.
Enes Kanter is one thing he isn't is somebody that's scared or that's gonna tuck their tail as far as it comes to like any kind of social issues. He gonna go at it with anybody and say whatever he feels on his heart. He's not gonna sugarcoat it. He's gonna say exactly what he feels and what comes to mind. So you definitely gotta respect him as a man.
And he's
for
a
that.
good teammate too.
And he's a good teammate. He ride for you. He ride for you.
Yeah, I mean I think that's what the Lakers really missing. Like when you look at this team, we really need that. Yeah, we need that. We really need that dog. You know, like we know, like 1,000%. You know, we know they gonna like you ain't. This ain't no. And that's what I thought was wrong with us last year as well. That we was too soft. You know, I mean, these teams are not afraid of the Lakers. I mean, like when people was afraid of that Golden State Warriors team. You know, they was afraid of that team. Yeah. You know, they was afraid of, you know, that Miami Big Three. You know, they're not afraid of this Laker team. I don't believe so.
Yeah. No, yeah, and you're right. You definitely got a point with that. I definitely could see that as well. Like they're not, they don't have that. They definitely don't have that same just grit about them. I guess is more so would be the appropriate word. And that bubble team definitely had it. They had a lot to prove, and I think Brown has to unlock that in his mind that that this team has everything to prove because you got a bunch of all-stars honestly outside of the big three. But
yeah, Melo need them.
But Melo's been playing pretty well, like so far.
No, I'm saying that like Melo, Russ,
yeah.
They need to come with that mindset, like we got stuff to prove.
Y'all don't haven't won yet, so there's no reason for y'all to be lackadaisical or for y'all to be like just coasting by. Like Bron can afford to coast by. He got 4 reasons why he can coast by. Y'all can't.
You know? Yeah, AD, you want to be compared to Tim Duncan? Well, to be compared to him, you have to win. You know.
Yeah, Tim Duncan was a dog. He was a quiet dog, but he was a dog nonetheless. No people knew how to play with Tim Duncan.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this new man today. I believe he's averaging like 28 points, 12 rebounds. Like, hey, we need to see this on a daily basis.
But we need him to step up and be a better leader too.
So check this out. One of the Lakers beat writers just wrote this what Frank Vogel told LeBron in practice today. Frank Vogel asked Lakers to raise their commitment to defense in a rare game day film session. Frank Vogel is trying to fix the Lakers' defense and asked team to try harder, while also blaming himself for not making their responsibilities more clear to them.
I'm telling you right now,
okay, I like that.
I don't like it. I love it. I love it because not only is he holding everybody accountable, he's holding himself accountable. A lot of coaches be like, man, these players, they got to step up this and the third. Frank Vogel is saying, yeah, they need to step up, but so do I. We all need to step up, and I love it. I have absolutely no issues with it whatsoever. I love it. I really do. I don't know how you feel about Freddie. I don't know if you not in your head, so it seems like you agree with me.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. You know, I want to see it. You know, everybody can. You know, we can talk. But okay, Frank, let's see. You know, playing the Cavs tonight. You know, they're 3-2, but we should take care of our business. Let's be honest. I mean, I know Cleveland's a much improved team from last year, but we should still take care of our business. Sunday,
are they in Cleveland or in LA?
No, they're in LA.
In LA.
Sunday, you got Houston. Tuesday, you got Houston. Thursday, we got OKC. We should win these next 4 games. I mean, that's what shows me.
I would say 3 or 4.
No. What shows
because you still have to implement Russ. That's still a work in progress. So that's
what I'm saying. You to show improvement though. To show improvement, we need to see. Then after that, you get Portland. You know that game. You know Damian Lillard's not going, but we don't know what he's going to look like by then. Damian Lillard can turn it. You know we know he can get hot at any moment. And then you got Charlotte. That's a good young team. And then you got Miami. That'll be a tough one. So, I mean, you know, these next 4 games, they definitely need to try to get some kind of chemistry going
they got to
get a little bit harder.
So, just real quick, because you brought up the whole Phoenix Suns thing. What he said hasn't yet been released. So, right, because I was trying to make sure, because last time I caught up with it, what happened was it basically was leaked that the NBA is preparing something to, in essence, expose him to forcibly remove him from ownership of the Suns. Now, what he said, there's really no one really knows what he said because the league is still they're still trying to do it. Supposedly, so this is the exact quote. This is the exact tweet. The NBA is preparing for a massive story accusing Suns owner Robert Sarver of racism, sexism, and sexual harassment in a series of incidents, sources say. With enough evidence to support such claim, there's a real chance the league will forcibly remove the owner. So, again, nothing really came out. They're just basically saying, we're putting it together. We're going to leak it. When asked about the stuff, the Suns kind of said, the Suns released a statement, which the statement really wasn't from the Suns, which I don't understand at all, because it was from what's it called, the president. I forgot his name, but it was from the president. Long story short, saying we're shocked by this. We don't, that's not the guy we know. We've never heard anything like this before. Basically defending him, and Sarver was just kind of like, I'm shocked. I never heard of anything before in my life. So he says, this is the exact quote, I'm woefully shocked. Wolf, that's how you know he's old. Wooly. My bad. Wooly.
So let me ask you a question. Let's say they sit him down. Would you guys want, let's say I'm thinking of a former Suns player, maybe a Charles Barkley to come out and buy the Suns?
I would love that.
Yeah. I think that should happen more.
Honestly, yeah, I'm just shocked that Charles Barkley doesn't have a stake already. He must be down.
He's not really all that intelligent.
You got
I
like Charles Barkley, but I can't stand him when he's talking about the Lakers.
Exactly.
I'm like, bro,
I can't stand him when he's talking. Period. Most of the time,
I hate him, but not 100%. If they really do fire him, because again, we don't know what's going on. We don't know. For all we know, it could just be a couple people saying stuff. A couple people could say, like the janitor can come out and be like, oh, you called me the N-word that one time. And then if we ask for more context, he'll kind of start stuttering. So we really don't know. It could be like he called the woman beautiful and she had a bad day and she was like, oh no, we don't really know the whole context when it comes to this.
Yeah, and and right now people got to be smart what you say, man. We live in a day and age where people, they're not going to hold back anymore. If you say something, bro, like, hey, this is not where, years ago, where this in ownership, this is a goody good group, this is white boys. This ain't that no more.
No, it ain't.
Right.
It ain't.
It's interesting. And on top of that, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't he own a WNBA team?
Yeah, I believe
I think he's part on that, and that's why the Mercury made a statement, because I want to say he's a part owner of that team.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is. It's kind of funny because I was just looking into it. Yeah, he owns the Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the thing about it, Pride, is too, and that you mentioned earlier, is that granted we don't know exactly what he said or what's going on, but if it's enough for them to say we're going to expose him and sit him down to get him out of there, it had to be something where they got something, and they got something that where they can prove it, where he can't run from it, to the point where teams are already making statements before it even comes out, because they know once it's the same thing with the Clippers. They know once it hits the wall, it's over with. So it's gotta be. It's got to be something significant, and like I said, it's got to be something that they could pinpoint and that somebody was able to prove, whether it's recorded or written down or it's something. It's something.
I mean, that is a good point. The fact that the league kind of is basically saying,
they're trying to jump out in front of it before it crashes and burns, because they know once we find out about it, that's when we're gonna have real discussions there. It's gonna get real uncomfortable.
Hey, you guys, I'm about to hop off. I'm just thank you for allowing me to come on and be the teacher that I am to teach you Pride.
Oh my God.
Elena, don't let this man pump your head, because you're smarter than this, Elena. I believe in you, Elena. Hey, I believe in you. Don't let him pump your brain up, because don't let him. But it was fun, you guys.
All right, Freddie, be safe, bro.
All right, y'all take it easy.
Oh man! All right, Elena. So we got one more topic.
Okay.
Before we send it home,
what you got for
State Warriors 4-1. They lost a close one to the Grizzlies. They lost by 3.
Yes, yeah. Well, a real good game.
It was a very entertaining game. So here's the question: Are the Warriors still a dynasty? And can they still compete? Are they still a legitimate threat in the West?
Dynasty, I don't think they are. I think that there is, as far as dynasty, there's a chink in their armor because they don't have Kevin Durant anymore. Now, can they still be a threat? Absolutely. I mean, as long as you have two of the best shooters that we've ever seen, you always have a chance, because the chances are of them both going cold in the same night is slim to none. I mean, one, and they both have proven that they can take over games and be the deciding factor, as well as the fact that they're a perfectionist. That I don't know what it is about that organization, but they know how to build around their stars. Like, they are exceptionally great at putting role players around Steph and Klay to highlight what they do best and to kind of cover what they don't do best. They run a great offense as far as move like a lot of screens, moving the ball well. Everybody kind of touches the ball, getting the best shot instead of just what's open. So I mean, they're always going to be a threat as long as they have those two guys. But as far as a dynasty, it doesn't feel, even though that they're back winning again, it doesn't feel the same like it felt in those previous Golden State Warriors years when they first started winning, and it was like, okay, this team could really be historic. It doesn't have that same feeling this year. It just has that feeling that they might be. We talking about the Lakers and we talking about all these other teams, but let's not forget about Golden State. Like, that's the kind of feeling that I get as far as with this Golden State team. Like I said, they're always going to be a threat, but I don't think that they're a dynasty anymore.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Before it just felt like it was Golden State versus everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Now that a lot of teams in the West are stepping up, I will say this. So it's a no then yes. So are they still a dynasty? No, I'm with you there. But I do believe they're still a legitimate threat. I believe the linchpin is really going to come down to Klay Thompson. We were talking with Mike about this. He doesn't know whether or not Klay will be able to come back and be the same, which is a very valid, that's a very valid question,
Absolutely.
Because if I'm not mistaken, it was the Achilles on the left and then the ACL on the right. And for this stuff to happen like that, you know what I mean? Like, back to back, it's been a while since he played. Is not only is his cardio, but remember, this is the same dude who he needs to guard their best player. That kind of a lot what kind of helps this whole thing go off. So it's going to be a concern if Klay comes back 80% Klay. This Warriors team has the potential to be a top 2 seed in the West because of how dangerous they are. And you mentioned Kevin Durant. The year before Kevin Durant, 73-9. So you know what I mean? So we've seen this team kind of, do their thing. Again, I'm with you. They're not a dynasty, but I'm going to tell you something, man. They're definitely still a team that you need to worry about when you're in the West. Forget the West, all the NBA. Because, again, like you said, Klay could go nuclear, right? And again, this is the same dude who will put up more shots than he takes dribbles, and he'll be efficient with those. You know what I mean? Steph, obviously, you got to worry about Steph no matter where he goes. You know what I mean? So it's, for me personally, it's my thing. The way I'm looking at this, like I said, it all really comes down to Klay. If Klay could come back and be similar to how he was,
they're gonna make noise. Like I said, if Klay can, even if Klay's not 100%, let's just say he's 80%, they still, I mean, you still gotta account, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't play, you can't double Steph, because then you leave the opportunity for Klay to get hot. And we all know if Klay gets hot, he can get hot with the best of them. So, I mean, even if he's not a full 100%, you still have to account for them, even if Klay's at 80, just because he's just that deadly. Like, he's just that sharp when it comes to shooting. And, you know what I'm saying? As far as that, the only part that I really worry about Klay is the defensive side of the ball, just because of the lateral movement and having to bend your knees and squat. Like, is he going to trust his body enough to hold up? That would be my only, like, I guess, little bump in the road or little hiccup as far as when it comes to Golden State. But if he is able to have that good enough lateral movement, and, you know what I'm saying, like I said, shooting comes natural to him. He don't really have to drill. Like, he's not a guy that needs to create his own shot to get his shot off. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna work. And he's in the perfect offense to kind of like ease his way back in. Like he doesn't have to be like you said, like a Russ or a Giannis or a Bron, where it's like, you know, athleticism is the majority of his game, so he has to, you know, slash the basket, and like he doesn't have to do that. They run a lot of screens, they run a lot of pick and rolls. You know what I'm saying? Their offense is predicated for him to, like I said, ease his way back in to the point where they get him right when they need him to be, which is like right before the playoffs or in the playoffs. And you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you got to account for them. You have to account for them.
Yeah, 100%. And not only that, like you said, like I think my thing is Clay has been one of the most underrated shooters ever. And it's crazy when I say that, but me personally, I have Clay as the best shooter of all time. That's just me, right? And I have him there because of how nuclear he can go, right? And I think right now, and again, if you want to have Steph, it's fine. My personal opinion, it really comes down to, you know, Steph and Clay are fighting for one. Whoever doesn't get one gets two. And then everyone else is just fighting just to hope they're in the conversation for three. That's kind of how my whole thing is with that. And the reason I say Clay's becoming a little underrated is because we haven't seen him in so long that people expect him to come back and not even be that guy anymore. They expect him to come out and all of a sudden just lay a goose egg. And the thing is I understand the injuries, but we're still talking about a guy who, again, one of the greatest shooters of all time, no matter where you want to put him. This is a guy who's extremely efficient with those shots as well. This isn't a guy who all of a sudden just doesn't really, you know what I mean? He picks up bad shots. He can put up some great shots. This is a guy who, if you give him the ball, I mean, bro, he's almost averaging 20 points per game, shooting about 42% from three. This is a dude who can do, you know, like he can do it. I'm not gonna say he can do it all, but in terms of being the number two guy, you give him the ball, he's got a nice mid range, which I think is people don't really talk about that like a lot. He's got a nice mid range. Obviously, he can shoot, and at the end of the day, it all really comes down to whether or not he can come back healthy. And I believe he can. That's just me. I believe he can. Will he be 100%? I don't know. But I don't think it'll be to the point where people are like, oh my God, why does he still have why is he still in the rotation? I don't think it's going to get to that point. I think we'll be able to get to a point with him where we can just look at him and say, you know what? He's still that guy. He's still balling. He's still hooping. Mm-hmm. He might take a slight step down, but I don't think it's going to be bad to the point where people are going to start questioning why is he even still in the league.
Yeah, no, not at all. I don't think the drop off is going to be that vast for him. Like I said, my only concern is just the defensive side of the ball, just because, like I said, there's so much lateral movement. Like you have to bend your legs so much, so it's like it's that wear and tear. Like it's being that he hasn't played in almost 2 years now.
Yep.
So it's like that wear and tear, working yourself back into NBA shape. Because it's one thing to practice, it's one thing to rehab, but NBA shape is completely different than just practicing and rehabbing. So it's like, can his body withstand that? Is he now going to be more injury prone? Is he going to get nicked up here and there? And is he going to be able to take, like, there's just a lot of things that go into that. But if the answer is yes, then you absolutely have to consider the Golden State Warriors being, like you said, a top 2 team, because that nucleus still works. People still haven't really solved that puzzle as far as how to truly stop that team, because you have to just kind of pray that both of them go cold. And it's like the chances of that are slim to none.
It really is. And that's really what it comes down to. The fact that you have two guys who rarely go cold, and the fact that it's rare that they go cold, and it's even rarer that they both go cold on the same night.
At the same time, yeah.
So the fact that you need to go in the game hoping and praying, it's to me, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
A healthy Golden State.
That's a good problem to have.
Exactly. A healthy Golden State. I'm telling you, and I'm pretty sure you and I both agree on this. They're dangerous. They're not the best. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say, you know, oh yeah, they're gonna be a number one over. They're not gonna go to 73 in 9 days, but no, they are definitely 110%. They can make noise, and the noise they'll make, it will be thunderous.
Yeah, no, facts. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but Steph looks like a man on a mission right now.
Yes. And his mind, like, I'm trying to keep us in contention. Mm-hmm. So when Clay comes back, we put him in here, and then we're good to go. Like
he's looking unanimous MVP Steph right now.
Yes, and what he's trying to do, what it looks like to me, what he's trying to do, he's trying to make sure, look, when Clay comes back, there's no pressure on him to be that guy again.
Yeah,
You don't need that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't put pressure on yourself.
Yeah, because a lot of people predicated his success off of the fact that he has Klay too. And I think that's another reason is because, like, even with the whole, if you take the whole KD stint out of it and you just break it down just to the two of them,
right?
I think he feels that a lot of people say, well, you know, Steph can do what he does because he has a Klay Thompson. So it's like, well, now I don't need a Klay Thompson because look what we're doing without him. You know what I'm saying? Especially last year, like they were in the play-in situation. They had like the whole Draymond thing, like. So it was like, you know, there's just a lot of things that are factoring in Steph's mental is why he's playing the way he's playing, because like he's playing like motivated basketball. Like he's playing like something to prove basketball. Like when he it's kind of like that 2016 like 7-3 and 9 team. Like he's kind of playing like that again, but just with more confidence. And it's not, he's more sure of himself now, which is scary because it's like, dude, what else do you really have to prove? Like
100%. And you're right. You know, he's trying to do whatever it is he's got to do to prove that, you know, like, bro, look, man, I understand it's been a few years. And, you know, I have, you know, last year we kind of had what a lot of people call a down year. And, you know what I mean? And, you know, then I had to play, you know, backseat to KD. But understand, I played backseat to KD because I chose to.
Not because I had to.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's something that a lot of people kind of tend to forget about when they talk about it. But this is something that I tell people. Not a lot of people understand. KD was a luxury, not a necessity. When KD he made them virtually unbeatable in a 7-game series. But without KD, and we even saw that during stretches, without KD. If Klay
they're still a top 2 team.
And not only that, with KD out, and if Klay's healthy, you could make a legit argument that they beat the Toronto Raptors in that
They
fight.
for sure would, because Klay was going off up until the fact that he got hurt.
Exactly. Right before he got injured, he was
going
off. Right. So we'll see. And and it's crazy. I'm not even the biggest Golden State fan in the world, but I'm out here cheering them on like I'm a cheerleader. I'm like Freddie.
Oh man, you gotta see. He talking about I gotta get away from you. You gotta get away from him.
100%, I do. I'm about to be like Fred Ward. We're not talking no more, bro, because he killing you, bro. Follow us on Twitter at Prideful Takes. Your boy be arguing with people on Twitter. My life goal, by the way, is to be blocked by half the people on Twitter. So
I think you're almost there, Pride.
I'm getting there. I'm getting blocked, and it feels great. You know what I mean? Like you go to try to find them, it says you go to their page that says you've been blocked. I pat myself on the back. I'm like, I'm going 100%. Catch us on Facebook at Prideful Takes. I do my pick'ems for the NFL on there. I might start doing NBA pick'ems, but I'm gonna have to wait on that because this season already has been kind of crazy, and I want to be a cornball and wait, and so that way I can pretend to be smart. If you don't have Facebook, you're in luck. We're also on YouTube at Prideful Takes. Visit our website, www.pridefultakes.com. Not only is every episode of the podcast up there, but we also have original articles. And I know I'm ugly as shit. That's where we have the Spotify, the Prideful Takes podcast. Elena, as always, it's been a pleasure. Next time we do this, Freddie's not going to get involved because he's poison. He's trying to poison you. You're above it, though. You're too above for the Freddie. You're too above it. So that's why it doesn't affect you. You know what I mean? But
absolutely,
I don't want you to be in a toxic environment. So we're going to try to keep it as far away from Freddie as possible. Elena, any last words?
Last words, man. Make sure y'all check out the Pride podcast, of course, with my boy Pride. Also check out From the Ground Up podcast. Make sure y'all follow and stream that as awesome as well. And Pride, I'll see you in a couple hours, man.
Let's see, because I'm telling you right now, man. He's a runner. He's a track star. Because I'm telling you, he ain't going to hit me up. I'm telling you, he ain't going to hit me up.
I need you to back me because you know he's going to come at me crazy. I need you to have my back, Pride.
Matter of fact, I'm going to be in the shadows. I'm going to be in the shadows.
Like, just lurk in the comments. Even if you're not on the show, just lurk in the comments.
I'm not even going to say nothing. I'm going to be quiet. The instant he comes at you sideways, the first and only comment I'm going to put, send me the link. And we'll see about it. And when I get there, I'm telling you. It's from Freddie. I'm gonna get a link from Freddie. And I'm gonna hop in there, and I'm telling you, it's gonna be me and you back to back, and we gonna be fighting. We gonna be swinging, and we ain't going down because I'm telling you, when we get there, no one's stopping us, bro. Our facts are too hard. Our facts are too hard. I'm gonna hit him over the head with a brick. As always, it's your boy Pride on behalf of Elena. It's been real. We will see you guys on Monday. Oh my goodness! I keep forgetting it's Friday, but yeah, we will see you on Monday. Be safe.
Knew where that was going. That was a great read. Oh, Lillard from the logo. That'll quiet the
2 on the season. 2nd and 1 for the Bills. They handle the rush. Allen looking. End zone.
2-2. Shohei Ohtani. Center field. Let's watch it go.
Did several of those inside low kicks.